Alright, hello Minecrafters and fans of Infitech to you fear the night. Which I'm not so much anymore because I have a monster repeller. So, although when it rains I notice I still got plenty of monsters and there's still some idiot out there who's not too terribly close. I mean, you don't want to go venturing too far outside the base, but mostly you're not going to see much of anything. Things can't appear right up on the shoreline like they used to, so I'm happy there. So anyway, I wanted to talk about circuits and parts. So let me take a quick look through here and make sure I got good. I'm good. So I'm going to talk about circuits, and so getting to circuit making, it's going to be a fun thing. These can only be made one way. You have the electronic circuit. Now, interestingly enough, if you look for a machine, I don't know, let's just see. Electrolyzer, for example, the small one. You'll notice there's some different types of circuits that can be used here. There's three alternatives. So the first one is the one you have to make manually. This is, straight up resistors, vacuum tubes. Then there's a couple others, but they have to be made a different way. I'll get to those in just a moment. So this guy here, you're going to need to make this coated circuit board, the sticky resin. The circuit board can be made much more efficiently once you have the assembler, and you can get some glue. I do suggest using this because this makes much better use of your resin. You do have to get some glue up in the barrel and plug it into the thing, and then use 8-wood planks, but you can make 8 at a time. It's pretty quick. It's a lot more efficient use of materials than this method here, where you're going to get 3 per 3. So the planks, you're not going to do any better on planks than you did, but you're going to be using, well, I guess you are using some to get glue, but maybe it's similar, but it's, I don't know. This just seemed like a better way. Maybe it's not that much better. Well, don't sweat it. These guys here, you're going to want to cut. You obviously don't want to do this way unless you are very early on. Once you get the fluid solidifier, you can get 2 for steel, but the cutting saw is really, I think, the best way to do it. You put your plates through your plate bender, then you cut them, and the cutting saw. So that's one way to get extra stuff out of it. Tubes and resistors. Tubes you can actually do a little bit better. Now you'll notice there's 2 versions. There's this guy here, which you might have to make with the when you have nothing but the wire snips. Once you have the wire mill, abandon doing it this way, and you start using the fine copper wire. It saves a ton of copper. Otherwise, you're going to want to kill yourself with the amount of copper you're using. So once you get the wire mill, switch to this method. Once you get the assembler, switch to this method. The glass tube, 2 copper wires, and again use the fine copper wire. Don't be an idiot and use this. Use this copper wire, and then use your 2 paper. So 2 paper, 2 copper wires, and that's a lot better than 3. So you're saving 1 spool of this. You're using the same amount of paper, same amount of glass tubes, but you're saving a little bit of copper, and that's going to count. So use your assembler. You're going to do far better with the resistor. Now the resistor, 2 pieces of paper, copper wire, coal dust. Again, use the fine copper wire once you have access to it. But once you have the assembler, so look at this. I used 2 of these, 1 of these, and 2 of these to get 3. Now, no paper. Just 4 of these, 1 of those. You are using a little more copper wire, but you're getting quadruple the output. So using double the copper wire for quadruple the output. So you're actually saving materials. And you're no longer having to use paper. That way all the paper you're making can be used for other things. So, wow, disintegrator. Fun. Anyway, so moving forward here, yeah, you get the other types. Let's see. So now you'll notice the alternatives here. Now, whoops, not too far. Oh no, this is the gold wire. That threw me off because I thought it was HV. Well, this is HV wire, but it's an LV machine. It uses gold. Well, actually, it uses even higher versions of wires as you go up. And you get electrum and platinum and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's see. Let's go with this guy here. So this guy here is made in the circuit assembler. There's several different ways to do it. The circuit assembler is similar to the assembler, but it makes just circuits, and it's the only way to make these guys. You can't make these by hand. So you're still going to use some wire. You can use resistors, but you're going to have access to the phenolic circuit board and the integrated circuit logic. Well, that's one of the alternatives. Oh yeah, okay, integrated logic circuit. So that'll get you the basic circuit here. And that you're going to have to use, you're going to need medium voltage. Because the cutting saw can't cut this guy without medium voltage. Precision laser engraver needs medium voltage. And the wafer itself, well, you can make that using a cheap thing. But the blast furnace to produce these guys, you need the gallium, which you can get anytime, just about. And then, I'm sorry, you can get once you have a centrifuge, you can get that. But the silicon dust, you're going to need the EBF to get that. So yeah, you're going to have to use a. So you're going to have some more advanced technology. And there's another one here, a microprocessor, which you can do the same thing, but it takes even more stuff. So I'm guessing you're going to be able to produce this crap in bulk at some point. For example, the assembler, aluminum foil, a little bit of polyethylene, you get 2 capacitors. So you're going to get those guys a lot cheaper at some point. And so maybe at some point this will become the preferred way to do things, because you get 4 of these for all the input materials. You can make them 4 at a time, as opposed to the circuits, which you can only make 1 at a time with all this. So you have to put maybe a few extra components in there, but you get a better output. So that's the alternatives, and it's gonna go that way when you move up to. You have the good electronic circuit, which you can make, but you're going to want to cry when you see this recipe. You have to make 4 electronic circuits. Yuck. And you're going to use 2 more red alloy cable, as if you're not already sacrificing so much. And you're going to make a diode. You're going to use 2 more of these and a diode. And the diode, you're probably going to be like, how am I going to get this wafer early in the game? Well, hit the next button here, gallium. You want to use gallium. Don't be a fool like me and burn up all of your zinc and burn up all that early found zinc, the crumbled zinc. Save the crumbled zinc. If it's dust, just go ahead, centrifuge it, and then cook it into zinc ingots. If it's the crumbled kind, what do they call that? Whatever, it's the crumbled kind. You know what I mean. Hold on to that. Crushed, that's it, crushed zinc ore. Hold on to that, because what you're going to want to do is either wash it, and then you can either pound it down in the dust and centrifuge out the gallium after you've washed it, or you can take it to the thermal centrifuge and just go straight into the gallium. And then the washing's optional. You can wash it or not wash it. You're going to get gallium no matter what. If you want the first product, though, you'll have to wash it in the ore washing plant. If you can wash things over here in bulk, but you don't get the output. But you can still get the gallium then by pounding it up into dust with your forge hammer and then spinning it out. Yeah, if you go and wash that dust again, yeah, you're going to lose the gallium. But anyway, save that stuff, because I'm really kicking myself. I mean, I probably didn't lose that much gallium, maybe 15 pieces, but the diodes are kind of expensive. Even so, it's using small piles. Gallium's hard to get early on. Once you get to the high voltage age, grinding up bauxite that's been thermally centrifuged. Grinding up the crushed bauxite that's been thermally centrifuged will get you a big pile of gallium as a chance item. But you'll get enough gallium, then you're going to be swimming in it. So save that gallium. But anyway, these good circuits, yeah, they're expensive. So when you start making the medium voltage machines, you're really going to hate yourself because you're going to be making stupid amounts of these things. So again, once you get the assembling machine, especially for this resistors here, use it. You're going to need the advantage. I wish I'd known that earlier because I wasted a lot of materials making these the old way, and then I realized that hey, the assembler can do them better. The circuit machine is going to be similar to the other guy over here. You're probably going to want to make another fluid extractor just to extract fluids into it like you do with the assembly machine, simply because it's going to need lots of that. Or you can just fill it up over there with the one you got. Fill up a barrel full of, oh gosh, what do you call it, soldering stuff, because I don't think it's ever going to use anything except soldering in here. I don't think it's ever going to use anything other than either molten tin, molten lead, or molten soldering alloy. Use the soldering alloy, you're just going to save so much more material that way. So you can just make a big barrel of that, pipe it in there, and make up 64 ingots of soldering alloy, melt it all down, and then just pour it over here, and it'll last you a good long while. But you're going to need that to make a lot of the higher end circuits. Early in the game, you can handcraft a few things. When you get to these integrated circuit, the good integrated circuit, it keeps flipping on me. Well, you know what? Let's just look it up. So here's the good circuits. Here's a good integrated circuit. Here's the good circuit we make by hand. That's the only way to do it. Here's the good integrated circuit. You're going to need access to the phenolic board, which glue you can get that with glue. You can actually get that fairly early on. Glue is pretty easy to get. You just centrifuge out that sticky crap, and then you get it. You get 100 glue, and you get the raw rubber dust and some plant ball. So rather than use the extractor, you might want to actually run it this way. You get the glue, you can grind the plant ball's only 10% chance, but you can grind that straight into biochaff to use in your biogas facility, which is, I highly suggest going to biogas. I do have a tutorial on how to make that done in Infitech 2, and it works exactly the same in 2U. So it's worth doing. So anyway, yeah, this guy, there's a number of little component differences here. When you're able to make the SMD resistors, you need polyethylene. Oh, that's in the assembler, so you're cool. You don't have to worry about putting that in the circuit assembler. You'll be able to make tons of these at once. You'll notice that small amount of material gets you just a million of these things. So you'll want to go that way. You'll want to go this way eventually. You can start out like this, but man, you've got integrated logic circuits, which you have to make out of this guy here. I don't know what this junk is here. Nuclear control 2, time cards, and array locators, or whatever the hell. Who cares? Yeah, use this guy here. And then the integrated processor, again, has more surface mount stuff. I don't know if there's any material advantage to doing it this way versus this way. This does use an awful lot of fine gold wire, and this probably uses less. Yeah, I imagine this actually saves you some materials, but you have to be able to make other things like plastic circuit board. So you're going to be dumping a lot of sulfuric acid, and once you get into making biodiesel, though, you're going to swim in this crap. So again, it's good to know you'll have more uses for sulfuric acid now. So, okay, hopefully that makes some sense here. Let's see what other machines we got. Let's see what other kind of circuits we're making in the future. Just to take a peek ahead. The advanced circuit, which again looks like has only makeable in the circuit assembler. And you're going to need good integrated circuits to do that. So eventually you're going to maybe even have chains of these things that are pumping materials through. It's one of those things that's going to be a real pain in the neck. So getting to the high voltage age is going to be that's going to be a fun time. Nano processors. Nano component central processing unit. Which is made out of chemical reacting some glowstone and raw carbon fiber. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of crazy crap you can make. Holy crap, that's a lot of voltage. Oh, you're going to need extreme voltage just to make this thing. So maybe when you're in the higher end. And there's this guy here, which is a processor. An advanced circuit. But you're going to need to make 2 of those. Oh man. This gets crazier and crazier. Random access memory. Yeah, you're going to be very busy making circuits. So when you get into the high voltage age, it's not easy. Like it's not near as easy as it was in the other game. You're going to have to use a lot of materials, and you're going to be unless you find some ways to automate some of this stuff, you're going to be doing a lot of manual picking around on components. So have fun with that. But that is, you know, part of the thing. Various processors. So there's, I mean, it looks like all of them have some kind of choices you can make. An elite circuit. What the? Oh, I'm gonna find out what that thing is. And a processor mainframe. You just stuff a whole damn computer in there. By that point, you're in ludicrous voltage land, and you're just. Who knows what kind of machinery you're going to have access to by then. And you get to this guy here, a quantum processor. You're just stuffing a whole mainframe in these things at that point. Wetware supercomputer, wetware, life support circuit board. Okay, they've added some really weird stuff in here. Got the petri dish. So you're literally using bacteria as a processor at some point. That's only when you get to like the stupid age of computing. Crystal processor mainframe. Where you're using large amounts of stuff. You can see that everything's based off something else for the most part. Oh yeah, you get to these fun things. 10,000 EU over T in a clean room. Oh yeah, the clean room's something else that'll be interesting to see. But anyway, that's circuits in a nutshell. Obviously, we're all gonna have some fun learning how to build those. I'm still pretty early. I've got a pretty complete suite of machines now, except the arc furnace. I still can't find diamond. I'm gonna have to keep digging. Eventually, I'll get there. But anyway, yeah, moving from this to the medium voltage age, it's not going to be the simple step it was in the past. It's going to take time. It's going to be painful, and but ultimately it'll be worth it. You'll be accomplished, and you'll be operating faster. I guess you could. Some people suggest skipping most of the medium voltage machines, going to the high voltage age. I don't know if you can get away with that anymore, because it sounds like a lot more machinery needs to be used that's medium voltage just to produce the components that are going to be used to get to the high voltage age. I think they're trying to address some of that balance here. So anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching.